Welcome to Week 12 in this fantasy football season. What's going on, everybody? Dennis Farrell here to break down everything you need to know to maneuver through Week 12 and to make it into the playoffs unscathed. Hopefully, you're in a good seat, sitting in the catbird seat. If not, you need all the help you can get, and that's why I'm here. Dennis Farrell. Follow me on Twitter at Dennis77Farrell. I've been doing good so far. Keep with me, baby. All right. Let's start with the Thursday night matchup. We all know it was Kansas City and Oakland. Cleveland, Atlanta. I love this matchup. Josh Gordon coming back. Pick up Andrew Hawkins if he's available on your waiver wire. He's coming back off a monster game from this ankle injury. And he's got Josh Gordon lined up on the other side of him. Love it. All right, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Detroit at New England. Keep an eye on Reggie Bush. He's returning from an injury. I picked him up in a lot of leagues. I'm going to see how he does. I'm not really using the New England defense as a measuring stick on how Reggie Bush is going to do. I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on how much production he's going to get during that game. Green Bay, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Indy. You have Cincinnati at Texas. Jets at Buffalo. Here's an interesting thing about this game. It's going to be moved to Monday night, and there's a great chance it's going to be moved to Detroit, Michigan. Now, if you're in driving distance, keep in mind last season when Minnesota Vikings had to come and play here on Monday night when the dome, collapsed with all the way to the snow. What they did was, if you were at that prior Sunday Detroit Lions game, you had priority seating with free tickets. Now, if then they open the rest of the seats up for free to the rest of the fans. I expect them to do the same. So keep an eye on this. If this gets moved to Detroit, I have a good seeking suspicion that they're going to give away tickets to this game. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not Daddy Warbucks. I don't have a ton of cash. Any chance I can go to an NFL game for free, I'm keeping my eyes open on this. That's my little tip for you going into Week 12 if you want to catch a free Monday night football game. All right, you have Tampa Bay at Chicago, Arizona at Seattle, St. Louis at San Diego, Dolphins at Denver, Washington at San Francisco. You have the Cowboys at the New York Giants. That's a rivalry matchup, and your Sunday night matchup. Your original Monday night game is Baltimore at New Orleans. Let's start talking with a little bit of news, shall we? You have Pierre Thomas finally returning to practice. Keep an eye on him. I have him kind of flagged in a couple of my leagues. I may go out and pick him up. He's finally returning back to practice, but I think he'll regain the job. I'm not in a rush to start him if he does play this Monday night, but I tell you what, he might be one of those sneaky waiver wire ads that can turn into a very productive flex play for you during a good playoff run, especially if you have an injured player or somebody that you suspect may become injured. Arian Foster. All right, speaking of Arian Foster, he's a true game time call. They called him that last week. He didn't play. He was nowhere close. I don't expect him to play, and if he does, maybe 30% of the snaps would be my guess. Alfred Blue is still a must hang on, and I'm playing him even if Arian Foster does play this week. Giovanni Bernard has been upgraded to a full practice. I am going to sit Jeremy Hill, only for this week. Oh, here's why. Giovanni Bernard has been taking first team reps all day this week, and I'm going to keep an eye on what he does for Friday. But I suspect that they're going to give him the majority of the carries to kind of get him back into game mode. I think Jeremy Hill will see less, but going forward, it could be a true 50-50 split. I'm not dropping Jeremy Hill from here on out either. He's a must stay on every roster, by the way. Emmanuel Sanders and Julius Thomas. Both of them look like they're going to miss Week 12. There's a small chance both of them could play. Emmanuel Sanders is progressing nicely through his concussion protocol. Thomas is dealing with an ankle injury. I think Thomas has a better chance of missing this game than Emmanuel Sanders. Although Wes Welker, to me, is one of the big pickups this week, who's been kind of forgotten. The opening here without a Thomas, without Sanders, will give definitely Wes Welker a ton of PPR catches. Josh Gordon is looking to get 75 to 85% of the snaps in his first game here in 2014. To me, like I said earlier, he is a must start. LeGarrette Blount, released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. New England Patriots jump all over him, signed him to a 2-year deal. And the good news is He did have 775 yards last year from the Patriots. Don't expect that at all. I think Jonas Gray is the big back. You have Shane Vereen, who's going to be the catching guy. So going forward, I don't know how much of LeGarrette Blount will have going on, but especially if Vereen or Gray falter or get injured, LeGarrette Blount, I do love him as an ad. In this week's top waiver wire pickups, you heard me talk about Wes Welker, Trey Madison. I love him a lot. He is inserting himself again to be. He's been up and down and inconsistent, but I think he's been on slightly enough of a consistent run for me to want to go and pick him back up. He should be available in most leagues. I think he was a forgotten waiver wire running back going forward this week. Coby Fleener, Dwayne Allen is out. It seems like Andrew Luck has been targeting all of his tight ends in the red zone. I love me some Coby Fleener, and he is a must start as long as Dwayne Allen is out. Jonas Gray, as everybody ran out and picked him up, but if you did pick him up, sit him this week. I don't like him versus that Detroit Lions defense. Kenny Britt, go pick this guy up. He's available in most leagues. He looked to be Sean Hill's go-to guy. He was targeted 7 times. He had 4 catches for 128 and a touchdown. I don't know if he'll do that every week, but I do like to have a go-to wide receiver, and it looks like Kenny Britt is that guy, and he's very talented when he is getting the ball. Jacob Tamme, especially if Julius Thomas misses time, Jacob Tamme is a tight end you want in this Denver Broncos offense. Go pick him up. Jarvis Landry, he was 5 for 46 and 1 touchdown last week in Week 11. He was 5 for 5 on his targets for the Miami Dolphins wide receiver core there, but he has 3 catches in his last 3 games total, and a total of 2 touchdowns, which means he's being targeted, he's making catches, he's being productive, and he's scoring, guys. So Landry may be my sleeper pickup for this last run here. And finally, my Twitter question. I haven't done this much, but I'm going to get back to it, guys. So if you have a fantasy question you would like featured on these videos, just tweet me at Dennis77Farrell, Farrell, and maybe your question gets answered. This one comes from NAF_FSW Sports. Wants to know, with Cook going on injured reserve and with a slightly gimpy Jimmy Graham, which is not very gimpy, but slightly, is Colston bumped up in any of my wide receiver projections? And I say yeah, especially on Monday night. I do like Colston a lot going forward. So, if he's available on your waiver wires and you're looking for someone to put in there to cover for a waiver wire guy, someone on Carolina, he might be that guy you want to pick up if he's available in most leagues. All right, guys, remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Dennis77Farrell. Facebook me, Dennis Farrell, Farrell. Send me a friend request. And as always, find the podcast, The F Word. We talk fantasy baseball, fantasy football, helping you win your fantasy sports leagues. As always, thank you for watching the video, and Hail Hydra.